YouTube, salute. Why every African should embrace the Pan-African struggle for a united Africa. The concept of Pan-Africanism is perhaps the more popular now than it ever was. There are great Pan-African activists scattered on the continent of Africa, but only a few, Professor Patrick Lumumba and Kimi Simba, can match the determination of the early Pan-African heroes. I will put the article in the description so you can check it out where I got this information from. One thing that has contributed to this, however, is the fact that modern education and innovation has taken minds of African youths off Pan-Africanism. So even though it is something they have heard of, they do not believe it is a worthy cause. To them, slavery and colonialism were in the past and Africa should embrace the future. Africa is battling with unthinkable poverty and underdevelopment despite its wealth and natural resources. Our people are dying in terror and it's upon the land. We have a duty to fight for Africa because we do not have any of other continent that we can call our own. To achieve this, we must put our pride to the side, our individual agendas as countries in the African continent, and uphold the general agenda of African unity, development, and progress. It is only by this we can truly succeed as individual nations and collectively as a continent. Yes! All it takes to be Pan-African is to decolonize one's mind from Western interference that tends to put us at war with ourselves and people. It is a simple acceptance that Africa's redemption lies in her unity to preach this ideology to others. The definition of Pan-Africanism is not a bogus. 1. Schools of thoughts are divided as to whether it is a movement or barely an idea. In all fairness, it is safe to say it is both. Pan-Africanism is generally accepted to umbrella the ideas and policies that preach Africa as a single entity which must unite in order to experience any tangible progress. There is a fundamental similarity among people of African descent, and we share the same history. Africans everywhere all live with the horrid history of slavery, colonialism, and neocolonialism. We all have a common enemy, as we all always had in the past. It was slavery and colonialism. Now it's neocolonialism or imperialism. Also, the cultural and traditional similarities between African nations are proof that we share the same roots and belong together. This is perhaps the greatest credit of Pan-Africanism in its proof that African people share the common destiny. The struggle for Pan-Africanism is not one that involves arms of war. In fact, the intellectuals are needed more than the laborers if we are to succeed. To be a Pan-African, you do not need to register anywhere belong to a particular group, although there are various political and civil Pan-African groups and movements structured from different purposes around Africa. Membership in a group or movement is not needed to be a Pan-African. What we need to do individually is to decolonize our minds and eliminate the beliefs imprinted in us that we are different and lesser than the white man. Africa is one, and colonialism is in its worst stage than it ever was during the slave era. What we are experiencing today is neocolonialism, and as Kwame Nkrumah said in his book, it is the last stage of imperialism. Africans cannot remain slaves forever. I want to leave these questions with everybody to answer in the comment section. You let me know. Where does Africa stand today? Were we created by a lesser God? Are we, as they say, that Africans were created to serve the white man as hewers of wood and drawers of water? Do we not have a right to own and control the resources on the continent? Are we created to be exploited? Is the continent a lab for European superpowers to test their assault and chemical weapons? Why is the West so interested in Africa's disunity? Why can't we be truly independent? Why must Europe and America control our economies and leaders? Think about that. Think about that. We have to actually start. Like I said, it starts within the mind. When you start with the mind, it works with the body and the soul, all formed together. It takes one person at a time. Nothing happens overnight. Slavery didn't happen overnight. It was a process, how everything built up to what it was supposed to be. So it's going to take years of peeling everything back like potatoes and trying to get everybody right. We might not be here to see it, but our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and future generation will be the ones we want them to reap the benefits. And that's the thing. Let's have them reap the benefits, and let's start with us so we can have more businesses, so we can have not just things on the continent of Africa, but in the Caribbean, in South America, Central America, United States. You know, that's all it's about. Post your comments below. Host Smash Black Panther the like button. Subscribe to my channel. Check out the playlist. Until next time, everybody. Peace.